Battle of Plassey 1957. In which year the Battle of Plassey was fought? The Battle of Plassey was fought in northeastern India on June 23, 1757. The Battle of Plassey was fought between whom? The Battle of Plassey was fought between the troops of the British East India Company, led by Robert Clive, against the forces of Siraj-ud-Daulah, the last Nawab of Bengal, and his French allies. Why is Battle of Plassey famous in Indian history? In 1757, Robert Clive led the company's army against Siraj-ud-Daulah at Plassey. The main reason for the defeat of the Nawab was that the forces led by Mir Jafar, one of his commanders, never fought the battle and he betrayed the Nawab. Why did Battle of Plassey become famous? The Battle of Plassey became famous because it was the first major victory of the British East India Company had in India. Why was the Battle of Plassey fought? The rampant misuse of the trade privileges given to the British by the Nawab of Bengal. Non-payment of tax and duty by the workers of the British East India Company. Who betrayed in Battle of Plassey? The Nawab's uncle, Mir Jafar, and local money-lenders, Jagat Seths, Siraj-ud-Daulah was betrayed. Effects of Battle of Plassey? Apart from the British getting political power of northern India but only after Nawabs, there were several other effects in many forms that came out as a result of the Battle of Plassey. They can be categorized as political effects. The Battle of Plassey resulted at the end of the French forces. Mir Jafar was crowned as the Nawab of Bengal. Mir Jafar was unhappy with their position and instigated the Dutch to attack the British in order to consolidate his foundation. Battle of Shinshura was fought between the Dutch and British forces on November 25, 1759. The British installed Mir Qasim as the Nawab of Bengal. The British became the paramount European power in Bengal. Robert Clive was titled Lord Clive, Baron of Plassey, and also obtained a seat in the British House of Commons. Economic effects. The economy of India was affected severely. Post the victory, the British started imposing severe rules and regulations on the inhabitants of Bengal in the name of tax collection. What was the size of the army? Combining both the French East India Company and the Nawab's army, total strength was 50,000. On the other hand, the British East India Company had a strength of 3,000 soldiers. What was the casualty in this war? Bengal and French East India Company had casualties of 1,500 out of an army of 50,000, on the other hand British East India Company had casualties of less than 100 men out of an army of 3,000. What is the Black Hole Incident? Black Hole Incident. The Black Hole of Calcutta was a small dungeon in the old Fort William, at Calcutta, India, where troops of the Nawab of Bengal, Siraj-ud-Daulah, held British prisoners of war after the capture of the fort on June 19, 1756. One of the prisoners, John Zephaniah Hollowell, claimed that following the fall of the fort, British and Anglo-Indian soldiers and civilians were held overnight in conditions so cramped that many died from suffocation, heat exhaustion and crushing. He claimed that 123 prisoners died out of 146 prisoners held. Where is Plassey now? Plassey, also called Plassey, historic village, east-central West Bengal state, northeastern India. It lies just east of the Bhagirathi River, about 80 miles 130 kilometers north of Kolkata,